don't like
but it's because like we have a history of having these radicals like Kanye West forming these big fucking groups and starting some shit. Like, think about the first person who thought about the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
Think about the first person who started the Underground Railroad. It was one radical motherfucker was like, we not with this shit. We about to do something else.
But those are changes.
But I'm saying that's why they are afraid of. That's why they don't like the nigga. Cause it's like, okay, he's starting some shit. He started some shit. If everybody start thinking like this nigga, we in trouble. I think it's more about being afraid of what his rhetoric or his idealizations are going to, how it's gonna move culture, because he moves culture. We can't deny that.
Sean Johnson, Head Steph, Sade Renee, you two into a back. You two into a back. The fuck? You two into a back. Don't answer me back.
You are good.
You are now tuned into the IC. How's everybody's week, motherfucking?
Shit, man. Everything booming in the bando with a few biddies and they go to tripping. You did.
Jaleel!
We coolin', man. Some school vibes. You know what I mean? I told myself this semester, I'm like, I get an assignment, I'm knocking it out the park.
Set an alarm.
You know what I mean? That shit didn't happen.
I'm telling you, set an alarm.
Yeah, I need to do that.
It works for me. Or put up like a sticky note where you see it every day and put the deadline on it. Because I'm the same way.
Hey, did we talk about this last semester?
Yes.
No, not last semester, but the last podcast. I signed up for this class, right? And this shit said asynchronous. And
I got one too.
And I ain't know what the fuck that shit meant.
Asynchronous.
So
it's literally just online.
Hold on. So I'm like, I'm looking for the time in class. I was on a syllabus like going back to back for like an hour. Hey, what the fuck time does this class start?
It don't start.
Ain't no fucking class. They just give you assignments.
They just give you assignments and they make you watch videos. I got one of those too. That shit fucked me up.
Wait a minute.
I emailed my instructor like, what time do we meet?
She's like,
so there's no teacher?
No, there's a teacher.
But we just no class.
You don't meet them. Like, unless you need to talk to them directly, they have like a link where
just get it done.
It's literally cool. Like, this is the but if you're not one of those people that's like good on your own, you'll forget you have that fucking class.
I'll be forgetting.
Yo, you think they're gonna have AI classes?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That would be
I'm sorry. He's like, why you say that?
Nah,
for people with ADHD, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I don't know what I signed up for. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't know mine was asynchronous either.
Because it's just like, hey, just do the assignment. In no class, there's no like, so you just expect me to be an adult?
Yes,
and go
nigga.
Look at this shit on my own, nigga, when there's YouTube videos out here, when I could just be watching other things and there's video games to play, my nigga. Hell no.
I'm telling you,
I gotta buckle down.
An alarm. I set an alarm for when it's 3 days coming and when it's the day it's due.
Yeah.
And I set it for like 4 hours before. Because I work well under pressure. So I set it for like 4 hours before the due date or the due time. And I'll do it. I try to do it beforehand, but I don't always do it.
I do that.
Shut up. Nah, but deadass. I have an asynchronous class too. And that shit fucked me up. I emailed the teacher like, I'm not sure if I missed the class. I was freaking out.
I'm telling you, that shit fucked me up, bro. I was just like,
I didn't understand.
Is this?
I didn't understand it.
I didn't either. Because then also when I signed up, it's the class date. Is the 17th, but it's to be announced with the time.
Word. Wasn't it confusing?
Like, what the fuck? Like, how y'all to be announced when y'all said the date is the 17th? Like, I just going to decide on a time later? Like, what? Hey, y'all ready to meet up? All right, let's do it at this time. Like, I don't know. I was so confused.
Oh, just watch the video and it explains everything.
I'm just like, all right, cool. But that's what my week been about. Just, getting acclimated. I got this one class I'm in. It's a history class, right? And my teacher's older, obviously, and then there's a student in there that's like about in his 60s. Bro, tell me why the 60-year-old teacher and the 60-year-old student started arguing, my nigga. I walked into the class for the first time, and these niggas is screaming at each other. Like, this man is disagreeing on minimum wages and shit and the racist shit. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a lit class, my nigga. I can't wait till next week, bro. See what that's like. These niggas is going at it, bro.
I got the opposite going on. I took a English 101 like when I was like 19?
Yeah.
And they lost my transcript. So I gotta retake it.
I'm taking English 101
right?
again too.
My teacher's younger than me.
Oh.
Everybody in the class is younger than me. I'm the oldest nigga in the class, and I'm like,
everywhere I go.
I'm not. It's usually it's a little mix. Like some.
Yeah, I got one older Jamaican lady in my class.
Nah, but this class, I'm like my
Jamaica's logo back to school.
Leave them alone.
Yo, we could ass be in this. Hold on, professor. So weird.
I had a roster, an old lady roster in one of my classes. I loved her.
That shit is funny as hell.
But that shit is weird. My teacher's mad immature, and he's just like, he's a great teacher, but he's like, he's a little kid. And I'm in the class, and I'm like talking about stuff, and he's like, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's definitely strange having a younger teacher.
I love school. I love school.
Yeah, school
so
is dope.
much.
School is dope.
I'm such a nerd. I'm enjoying it.
So what we here for? What we here for? What we talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Tell me.
Did you guys know, the people watching the show, that that this is all natural?
Oh yeah, we just be coming up organically. Like we
What's all natural? Our conversation?
Yeah, we don't like have like a talking point. Which I don't know. Sometimes
we tried that and it didn't work.
Nah, it worked.
It worked, but it was just like
we have better conversations.
Yeah, naturally.
Our show is chemistry and vibe.
Yeah.
Like that's it's like
that's our thing.
This is the Seinfeld podcast.
No, that ass.
I mean, like,
yo, that's a good motherfucking analogy of like what exactly we do. It's just like a show about nothing but everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we just cover shit. It's just regular people just talking.
Right.
I be talking.
I'm not regular.
I be talking. But yeah, so what are we talking about today? I don't know.
And every time we say what we're gonna talk about today, that's when we don't have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, but I honestly, we probably shouldn't even say that.
I know.
I feel like when we do that shit, it's just like now we thinking about what to talk
say.
about. When we normally just be
we just be talking.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
Nigga, we talking right now. Shut up. You're exposing us. Nah, I ain't gonna lie, that's true. I mean, this shit all started like, like niggas just being drunk motherfucking after the club or before the club and just start yapping. Next thing you know, 4 or 5 hours, like, you still trying to go? Like,
word. Every time.
Yeah, that's
every
definitely
time.
how it started. That's definitely how it started. I don't know, man. I think that's dope. I feel like if you could hold the conversation, I feel like it's hard nowadays for me to hold conversations with certain people because people want to talk about like surface level shit. Like I don't give a
small
fuck
talk
about like shit that like left is left, right and right is right. I'm like shut the fuck up. You're just saying words just to say words. You know what I mean?
Word. Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah. That's what I like about us. We don't really be trying.
Yeah.
It's weird when you bring up those old like memories. I feel like my life started
at that time.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. You know how like you know how like it's funny you say
like
that.
Everything else I was just like
just doing
clouded and doing.
Yeah.
Like as soon as that situation happened and I was staying at your crib for a little bit, that's when life started.
Yeah.
It was definitely the beginning for me.
Yo, that's crazy.
Definitely the beginning for me.
I mean, thinking like some simulation type shit.
Yeah, that shit is mad weird.
Activate this one.
Yeah.
What are we?
Yo, if I was like, any of y'all relate? If I now look back to a version of myself, like it's almost like he's like
it's a different person,
not recognizable. Like,
OD.
Like it's just so much. Yeah.
I feel like that's how it's supposed to be.
I probably wouldn't even be able to have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
You don't really realize how much you change when you get older, but you're gonna change a couple times too.
Yeah,
Word.
a couple times.
Word.
Like a good fucking like. Yeah. I don't know. Like
being an old version of myself would have fought.
Yo, that
I got on my nerve. I did not like myself.
Yo.
I played the role way too well.
Yeah.
Way too fucking well.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have fought. We would have threw hands. Definitely threw hands because that bitch was annoying.
You know what I found? what I found happening like at a certain age, and I'm kind of reluctant to say this, but because I feel bad, but it's just I had a group of friends that I was just like constantly hanging out with, and I started to notice like us double back having conversations that led to nowhere. And it would be about simple shit that was just like
what?
Like this, like reminiscing about high school.
Oh, that used to happen a lot.
It was just a lot of the same conversations, but it wasn't any deep, insightful thought. It was just like, you used to have a slip back.
No, because people, well, especially New Rochelle, people from New Rochelle love New Rochelle nostalgia.
I just feel like when every base of your conversation is about something from the past, not even like insightfulness, like it was just like an ongoing running joke that was just like funny at like prepubescent stupidity, immature, like, and it's just no longer funny, but it's just like constantly like referred back to over and over, and I'm just like, I don't like y'all. Like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, it just... That
remind me of a group of people.
It's just
You're
like...
probably talking about that group of people.
We probably are. My nigga, like... and it's not my homies. My niggas, my day ones, and they know who they are. But it's just like, I kind of just got like turned off. I was like, bro, like, why? And it's not... I don't want to feel like I'm like on some enlightened shit and I'm better than you type shit. It's definitely not that. Yeah. It was just like... You ever had like some... you ever ate like... a food too much, like that one time too many times, and it's like, this shit kind of nasty.
Or like, I need a break from this.
Yeah. It just, that happened, and then like that's where it was like the propeller point for me to like, I don't know. I hate small talk. I hate having the same old ass conversation over and over again. Like, it's just like, you're okay with this my fault. This mundane. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a craving for like more, or
yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like this started to come into play when we just started like really exploring like different conversations. And I ain't gonna lie, man, I wish back then one of us just pulled out a camera, because we had some dope ass conversations. We still having these conversations to this day, but like I still wish like we could go back and talk about those things, which is kind of ironic. And me talking about going back in the past. But I'm saying, like,
right.
I feel like we had some good, insightful talks.
But this show is really to like it's almost like a evolving time capsule. So like I would love to see this like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, God willing. Yeah. Just to see how like things have turned out. Even the progress when I look at the first episode until now, just like looking at the progress and like
we came a long way.
Yeah, like not even just like viewership, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody would be hooked on viewership. That's why everybody would be talking about
the same shit.
Kanye throwing this girl's phone, or fucking
that happened.
Yeah.
I ain't hear that happen.
Me? No.
We can talk about it. No, why you throw his phone?
That's so funny.
No.
So Kanye West, apparently. That's my radio voice. I need a better radio voice. We're talking about that off the air. That I don't have a radio voice. And how are you going to be a host without a radio voice?
What's a radio voice?
You got to have the raspiness, and you got to have the repetitive, very monotone. And,
it's a very monotone voice, and
you do a lot of those.
Try it.
No, I ain't gonna lie. It's something about there is something about radio and podcast voice that are like soothing. I don't know what it is. It's like
it's like
they used to tell me I had a voice for radio.
It's just you do have a voice for radio.
I don't get it. I don't know what that means.
It's just something that's appeasing to or like easy on the ears.
Okay.
Calming, you know?
Yeah. My voice was a lot raspier though when I was younger. And they always used to tell me I should do radio.
Talking like DMX, you know?
Nah, they used to call me Froggy, deadass. Froggy? Yeah. I just had like a very raspy voice. Yeah, and then my name was Sade. They're like, oh, can you sing?
Oh, yeah.
Can you sing?
Oh, my God. Yeah.
So, this nigga Kanye. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Some paparazzi was following him, right?
Yeah.
And, he got out his car and he went to the girl's car who was following him, and he was like, "Stop following me when I'm trying to see my kid." And she goes, he was like, I don't want you running up on me. She goes, I wasn't running. And he's like, it ain't about running. It's like, it ain't about running. And stop running up on me when I'm gonna see my kids. But she goes, but you're Kanye West, but you're Kanye. And he just took her phone and threw it.
That was his girl?
No, it was some random white girl.
Yeah, bitch,
okay.
mind your business. Give me a second. Like,
Nah, I don't know how people deal with that.
Me either.
That level of fame is scary.
It's annoying.
It's kind of like a mob chasing you at all times. I don't know.
Yo, but my thing is too, when I look at it and I see how like over Kanye is about it, it's like you work so hard to become Kanye West, and you are Kanye West right now, and you're so over it. You know. You know how many kids are in their basement sampling records that never got a chance?
Yeah.
You know how many people who like will never get their chance?
Yeah.
You know how many people like just will never get a chance to meet you or see you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
and it's like
to play devil's
advocate. That's what I'm doing. But I'm not saying that it's okay for people to run up on you like while you're going to like see your kids and shit. But you've worked your entire life to get here,
and now you got it.
And now you got here, and it's not new. You don't walk into signs on
yeah, that shit was dumb funny
from paparazzi and shit like that. You've done it all. You know, you're Kanye West. Like you know how long you were fighting for people to compare you to Leonardo da Vinci and Walt Disney, and you're him now. You're actually
what you wanted.
Yeah, you're actually that now.
But here's the thing though. It's funny. Just to play devil's advocate, I'm gonna say this in defense of Kanye. I guess not to say that I support all the things he's doing, but I was having a conversation with my shorty yesterday about, because I vape, and I've been smoking since I was 18, and so nicotine has always been a part of my life, right? And she was like, just stop, because I've been trying to like stop vaping or whatever, and
if it was that easier, it didn't stop.
And I was just saying, like, yo, do you know how like deflating it is to hear somebody that's never been addicted to something just tell them to stop?
Yeah.
So it's just like, Mo, you don't know what it's like to just stop. Or like you don't know what it's like for you to just say that. It's like,
no, it's like they don't know how it is for you to stop.
Exactly.
Because some people stop all the time.
People stop things, but they don't know what it's like for me. So,
yeah.
So it's like, I hear what you're saying about the Kanye West shit, and I get it. And it's like when like any type of famous person is like, oh, you're crying, you got all that money. It's easy to say like, he should just be happy, or just this is what you wanted. So
it's easy to say that when you're not him.
It's easy to say that, and I'm not saying I justifies any of his behavior. I don't think he should have threw the phone, but I think it's like understandable. I think it's like, bro, like none of us know. I get annoyed by like little shit, my nigga. Like shut the fuck up, bro. I don't want to talk to you. Like niggas keep calling my phone. Like nah, this. But
it's funny because in the last episode we were talking about for. A lot of people to get on, they have to go through a bunch of variables to line up for shit to happen, for you to get on and for things to happen.
Indeed.
And this is not only him going to Rockefeller. This is not only with his sneakers blowing up. Yeah. This is not only for producing and taking the train to Jay-Z to rapping alongside him on stage. So many things had to align up that he obviously figured something out. Yeah. He can't figure that out. He's an anomaly of thinkers, and you can't think your way out of that.
I guess, in that sense, well, I guess,
I think it's his superpower working against him. Because if you think about it, he's always just been like this, like over the top, in your face. Like he is who he is, essentially. He's not the most socially savvy person. Like everything he's done has been against what is supposed to be done. And that's why he is who he is. So true. I don't think it's really out of the box to say, like, you can't respond like that. That's who he is. He's always been in your face. Like, I'm that nigga, or leave me the fuck alone. He's always been that.
Or is it not okay for a person just to have a bad day? Like, we all have a bad day. Like, It's a bad day, like a bad moment of like, all right, I'm not responding well. Like, you know, like we've been in a time where we're not performing. Exactly. Like we've been. I still think throwing the phone is a little excessive, but
I would have threw that phone.
I'm not saying I wouldn't have. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't have. I don't know what I would have done in that situation, but I do know how it feels to be annoyed and overwhelmed.
So Kanye versus the world. Who's right?
Oh, Kanye's not right. I can't say that. He has a lot of right, and he has a lot of things that he's trying to say that I feel that have validity, but I feel like there's too many times. You know how when it's like, oh no, you have to take it into context. He didn't mean this, he meant that. He has too many of those moments. But the simple fact is, like, once you said slavery is a choice and you saw the backlash from it, you think as a billionaire that you would learn from that point.
But is that really like I understand, and like these are like sensitive topics, and some of the slavery was a choice didn't really jab me emotionally. What probably did jab me emotionally was when he was like, yo, his knee wasn't even on him like that. Yeah, it's funny how to say it, but like it kind of, you know, when things kind of offend you, but it's not about you.
Yeah.
Like, slavery is a choice didn't offend me. I don't know why it didn't offend me, but
I don't think it offended me either.
It didn't, right?
It didn't offend me.
But him saying that his knee wasn't really on his neck like that, I don't know why that bothered me. So I get what you're saying, but are we really gonna dictate our life and our decisions from public narrative? Because you gotta remember, essentially, people think public narrative is truth. They don't think your truth is truth. They think everybody's truth is truth. So if everybody says that the sky is green, then the sky is green? And you're the only one that says the sky is blue? So like, he's not, so you can't have, it's like he's fighting for his own truth, and everybody's like, well, everybody doesn't agree with him, so he shouldn't have his own truth, or he shouldn't. It's part of free thinking.
And that's the thing, and that's why I say I still support partially, because I do feel like we in this place where it's like, if people don't agree, we're like, well, let's ruin their life, and I am so against that. I feel like the most racist nigga in the world should be able to like say whatever the fuck he wants and still catch these hands, but
say it. Yeah.
Be you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody should, because once we get to a point where it's like we start censoring people, where we're at right now, it's dangerous, because now we're like, what are we doing here? Like, so if I don't agree with everything, you're gonna label me as something? Like, I don't like that. But I feel like, being that he's a brand, he's not just an idle person speaking ideas. I feel like he's being extremely irresponsible, because once you said, okay, his knee wasn't even on his neck like that, my nigga, at that point you got to realize, you know what? I've come this far in life, and I've been saying shit. Even though I mean this, I'm not getting that. I have to make sure that it can't be misconstrued. I can't just be like, if I'm not good at it, let me prepare before I have these like public statements. And he's not doing that. That's what's frustrating me with Kanye. And it's like, I feel like we can't keep making excuses and being like, oh, well, he meant this and not this, or he meant to say it like this and not that, and start creating an explanation for him, because that right there is like, we're like losing our validity when we do shit like that. It's just like, oh my nigga, you just agree with him. Like, now it doesn't even look like you give a fuck. You just like this person.
Kanye's probably past the point to where his fans take him on like wholeheartedly. You know, I think it's now like we kind of embrace his mistakes.
Yeah,
like as fans, we kind of like
that's just Kanye doing being Kanye.
Yeah, that's Kanye being Kanye. He makes a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, but
he ain't gonna make a mistake on these right here. You know what I'm saying? Or he ain't gonna make a mistakes. But
I don't feel like we should.
I think the conflict is like really like realizing what we're supporting at this point.
Yeah,
you know, and at the same time, he's a black activist. At the same time.
At the same time.
He's a radical thinker at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of black people feel like, okay, he's saying like these intense comments about like these type
Touchy
of people
subjects, yeah.
and those people and this and that, but it's like, who else do we have to with that wild of a mouth to like fight for us? You see how people be playing the shit out of Umar.
Yeah, Umar.
We don't. It's like we don't want nobody.
You know what it
like,
is though? It's just like we can't. Here's the thing. The problem. This is why I consider myself a centralist. I don't left or right. I feel like we can't ever just have a happy median. Like people got to be like, yo, there's systematic racism. Yes, there is. We should just call all white people. No, nigga, I didn't say all that. It just can't be something in the middle. Like it's like. As human beings, like we naturally do this tribalism thing where it was like, oh, I'm with this party and I'm with this team.
Yeah.
And like, even though you don't agree with everything, and this is like, there's too many idle. Like, it's like, why does it have to always be extreme? It doesn't have to be that extreme. Like I feel like normal human beings are mostly centralist and don't even know it. Because even though you subscribe to the left party or the right party, or conservative, or whatever, progressive or this, whatever, you still are like, most people are going to be like, yeah, well, I don't really feel like, I don't even want to bring up a subject to be like, whatever, but like, let's say it's like, I don't feel like everybody that likes pineapple on pizza should be killed, but I think that shit is kind of weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of weird, but I don't feel like we should.
No, I think you might be missing. Like, I think it's not about left or right anymore. I think it's about what narrative associates to your identity.
But that's what I'm talking about, though. It doesn't have to be left or right. I'm just talking about if, like, for instance, let me just say, Kanye West talking about how like Jewish people have a claim in Hollywood and they kind of like pimping black people out. I do feel like there's a lot of people that are Jewish in Hollywood that probably have control over certain things. Mm-hmm. And I do feel like there's a lot of black talents that are giving deals that are not great. You know what I mean?
Exploited.
I don't feel like the entire Jewish community has something to do with that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't feel like we're not saying all Jewish people. I feel like there's a group of people in Hollywood that happen to be Jewish are in control of certain things. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, but it's still the narrative though, because the narrative is that and right now the Kanye's just antagonizing whatever narrative you put on him.
Yeah,
you know, so the lines are blurred, but the narrative is that he wants like harm to Jewish people,
and that's not even what he's saying.
No, but that's the narrative of like labeling like the Hitler stuff and the it's just going
so far.
I think he's wrong for going so far.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why would you even? I love Hitler. Like, all right, bro. Now we're not talking about what you were talking about anymore. Now we're talking about dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? This is what I was talking about with the messenger, shoot the messenger and whatever. Like, why are we talking about Hitler, bro? Like, why are we talking about, we all as a collective agree Hitler should have never existed. Fuck that. We don't fuck with Hitler. Fuck Hitler. Like, I don't understand why we went there. At this point now, whatever message you had is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So this is like, I agree with you until you went here. And now you fucked up the shit. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there can't be a median. So it's like either you got to be like, fuck Kanye, or you love Hitler. You know what I mean? That's
but
what
is that what it is though?
Kinda. Let you be, bro. The Tory Lanez and Meg shit. My standpoint on Tory Lanez and Meg was on some like, I'm not gonna call this man guilty till I feel like he's guilty. But if you don't support black women. You're against black women, keeping black women safe. Why is that? Like, I literally had arguments with people because it's like, bro, I'm not gonna call this man guilty. I don't know what happened that night. Mm-hmm. Why is this? It seems a little weird. Like, let's go through court. Let's see some shit. And it wasn't until I heard the phone call, I was like, ooh, that phone call. Yeah, he probably did that shit. You know what I'm talking about? Like, then I'm like, yeah, well, I feel like he's guilty. Right. Now I do. But I'm not before. And I'm not sorry for that. I feel like that's what it is nowadays. If you do not fully commit, it's like on some gang shit, my nigga, on some 50 shit. Remember when 50 was just like, you know why 50 and gang beef started, right? So Game came to New York for the first time, and he was greeted by Nas. A lot of niggas that 50 was beefing with. He was like, oh, these are the legends, and they fuck with me. And he was cool. So he went to Hot 97 and they asked him about 50's beef. And he was like, oh, I met these niggas and they seem cool. It's all love. So, I mean, I don't know what 50 on. 50 took that as like, oh, you're not 100% down? Game's out of G Unit. That's how the whole beef started.
Wow.
So it's like, that's how it feels now. It's like on some like, wait a minute. So wait, we're against fucking, well, we want to protect black women? Hell yeah, I'm down for protecting black women. Oh, this woman said that some outlandish shit. Oh yeah, this nigga abducted her, fucking forced her to do shit and whatever. And it's just some unbelievable shit, right? That you or something that needs to be proven. Okay, I'm not sure if that really happened. Let's see what happens. Like, oh, you're against us. That's what I'm saying. It's like you can't be halfway in.
Yeah. You
have to be 100% with us or you're against us. That's what it feels like right now. Especially with progressives. Never in my life have I thought I would be like, yeah, I don't know, these progressive niggas going a little kind of crazy. But here I am.
It feels like it's almost like people are siding with Kanye just because of the fact that he's a radical.
That's pretty much what's happening.
Yeah, and not like what he's saying. It's almost like we know that he's gonna say anything.
Yeah.
But just the fact that he's a radical and he's going against everything, like the whole troll culture.
Yeah.
You know, the troll culture is in right now.
Yeah.
Like anybody that's a troll is winning. It's common W.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like
I need that for my foot.
Like what's the
No, go ahead. I'm gonna look it out.
What's Sade doing?
Just listening and
no, go ahead.
Formulating my thoughts.
Yeah, what's the synopsis? We just gonna do like our social internet avatars don't mean what the avatar represents anymore.
That's what's pissing me off, bro. Because it's like it's no longer about like the conversation. It's no longer about a conversation or any narrative or any subject. It's just like, remember we was talking about the rap shit? Like just like niggas is not working on their craft. They just doing it for the sportsmanship, just shooting shots.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like nobody cares about any points. Nobody cares about anything changing. It's just all about like, you with us or against us? And if you're against us, we're going to get you canceled. And I feel like that's going to create, like we was talking about the pendulum swing in a couple episodes back. When this motherfucker swing back the other way,
but
this shit about to snap back like a dad cap. I swear to God.
I guess that's the standpoint I take, is I'm just watching this shit unfold. Like I love Kanye, and it's almost like I'm more like about the individual more than I am about the collective, because I feel like the collective will always choose to band with the collective.
Yeah.
And we've lost the power of being an individual. And I think that you don't have to fully agree with what someone's saying, but it's just like he has the balls to be himself wherever he is, and I respect that.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's all about fucking checks and boxes. Like I'm a free spirit. Don't put me in no box.
Yeah.
Like you said, like just because I fuck with Kanye don't mean everything he says, but it's like none of this shit moves me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like what? Like I feel like it's like, okay, one person speaks his mind. You don't have to fucking agree.
Yeah.
What, like him speaking his mind is like somebody gonna create a fucking band group that's gonna do what he's saying? Like think about it. Like what are the real ramifications of freedom of speech? And I feel like that's more what it's about. It's like they're scared of what he's going to fucking incite by what he's saying. Y'all are afraid of freedom of speech because you're afraid of the power he has over certain masses of people. It's not really like, I think we just live in this fear-driven society and this collective mindset that anything that opposes what we all agree with is dangerous because
I don't like that.
but it's because like we have a history of having these radicals like Kanye West forming these big fucking groups and starting some shit. Like, think about the first person who thought about the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
Think about the first person who started the Underground Railroad. It was one radical motherfucker was like, we not with this shit. We about to do something else.
But those are
but I'm saying that's why they are afraid of. That's why they don't like the nigga. Because it's like, okay, he's starting some shit. He started some shit. If everybody start thinking like this nigga, we in trouble. I think it's more about being afraid of what his rhetoric or his idealizations are going to, how it's going to move culture, because he moves culture. We can't deny that. And they're afraid of that. And I think,
I agree.
And
I agree.
I also feel like, again, I am who I am. So it's like looking at his birth chart, it's like, it makes sense why he behaves the way he behaves. I'm never surprised by him.
I just feel like it's like, yeah, I get the whole like, all right, we don't want another fucking genocide or whatever. That I agree.
But that's not gonna happen.
I don't think that would ever happen either.
But that's what I'm saying.
Society.
It's
but
irrational.
I feel like we should, if we have a problem where one person can manipulate people to do some radical.
There's a problem.
We're living in a state where like there's not really strong-minded people.
That's the problem.
That's the biggest problem. So
That's
I feel
exactly
like we should
my point.
be exposed to more motherfucking free will and radical thinking, so we can sit here and decipher whether like, okay,
what's good or bad.
Bugging,
but nobody's thinking radical.
And but that's what I'm saying. That's why it's like the individual versus the collective.
It's the Andrew Tate, the Kanye West.
Nobody thinks for themselves. Nobody can't fucking hear somebody and say, you know, I don't totally agree with that, but I get where you're coming from, and still think the way they think, and still respect the way they think.
Exactly.
There's too many people who's like you said,
NPCs.
We're in a box, and if you don't fit in this box, like, then we don't fuck with you.
And
but it's because they're afraid. It's so weird. Don't you notice
the collective thought circles always overlaps each other?
Yeah,
like the people that believe in feminists, believe in transgender, have similar fashion sense. You get what I'm saying? It's overlapping. It's like it's like a chain of like circles that like overlap each other.
Bullshit.
And the people that like Kanye West agree with this, agree with that, agree with this. So it's like they're manipulating chains of collective thought.
But it's
when they're doing that.
But think about it even like this. It's like if you don't fit into that thought, you're gonna get ostracized. Like, people need people. People don't want to be ostracized. So you have all these people just banding with the collective because they don't want to be on the outside. They don't want to be and it's so fucking dangerous because it's like that is more dangerous than the radical who speaks his own mind.
Yeah, I think so as well.
It's way more dangerous to have the hive mind than to not think for yourself. And I feel like that's why we don't have no true forward movement in anything. Yeah. That's why everything's become so fucking like, even it's like I used to think that YouTube and, you know, like when you see different styles of like this new music coming out, these niggas don't fit in the box that we're normally used to. So it's like, oh, that's some weird shit. No, it just don't fucking fit in the box that you're used to. Yeah. But people are scared of that because it's different. And I feel like it just makes the world a stale place. Why can't we all think how we think and not feel like we have to conform to any box? And that's, I feel like that's why we can't fucking grow. There's no fucking, I remember in high school, they used to talk about tolerance. And it's like the same motherfuckers that was talking about tolerance don't got no tolerance for nobody that don't think about themselves. Think about what they think about. That shit is bullshit.
Yo, give me some gunshot sounds in here, bro. She just dropped a fucking bar right there.
It's just like how.
That's a big bar.
How do you.
On the edit, you need to hit a replay button, like in a slow motion, where she just says that shit, just like. And it had me in the corner with some shades on, just like. On some like.
Nah, but think about it.
Yeah, that
like
was hard.
How is the victim the fucking, like, the victim's the hero? What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying,
like, how is the victim the fucking hero? Like, no. Like, we're in this weird place where all this shit is fucked up, and it's just like the guy who speaks his truth is a villain?
Yo.
How?
I was having a conversation with my shorty the other day.
That's why I don't have certain conversations because
this is going to be a little. I'm gonna have to be very careful how I say this conversation because it's like I know the labels could be thrown at me some type of way, but we was talking about how like what is deemed homophobic, right? And I was like, I don't think. And actually, we had a conversation about this here too. I think it was off camera. We was talking about like calling somebody homophobic, and I'm like, what is homophobic?
Because
like,
I'm not comfortable with it.
That's basically when it came down to is like it was about comfortability, right? And I was like, yo, I think people should be able to do whatever the fuck they want with their genitals, bro. Do whatever the fuck you want.
That don't got nothing to do with me.
Don't include me in it.
Don't
that was
force
my biggest thing.
Me.
So like we had a conversation of code switching. It was like she didn't understand because at one point she was thinking, "Oh, well, that's kind of homophobic." How I was thinking. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I think it was talking about like basically how they televise so much sexuality nowadays when it comes to like it's almost and it comes across as pushing agenda. And then she was like, "That's homophobic to think." And I'm like, "How?" And it was like this: when I go to my mom's house and the way I speak at my mother's house and the way I speak with my niggas and the way I speak with my shorty is all different.
Right.
But there are some people that will go out, like for instance, you'll have an openly gay person, which hey, more power to you. I respect the fact that you're able to find yourself and be happy about it.
Yeah, I think you got.
But I'll be in a Discord, right? Because I'm in a Discord. I have a Discord. Head Steph, if y'all want to come in here, it's a gaming Discord, right? And then we have some transphobic members. I mean, not transphobic, trans members and gay members, which is cool. But there are some gay and trans members that'll come in and be like, busting dicks and this, that, and just be like, and it's just like, and then when somebody in that chat will say something about it, oh, you're transphobic, and they'll make a video and they'll be recording and try to expose them, and I'm just like, this is kind of performative. And it clicked for me. This is the problem.
Yes.
The problem is if me and SJ go out in a night and when I'm single, whatever at the time, and we would have fun and we oh yeah, I hit this and I'm talking about and I'm letting them know the details of what my sexcapades of the night was. It's because it's between me and him.
You're not gonna do that with me.
I'm not gonna go outside. I'm not gonna do it with Sade, but I'm not gonna go to an event where there's multiple different people there and be out there and be like, yeah, and I was eating that shit and I'm not doing that because it's inappropriate.
Yes.
Does that make them straight phobic or whatever? No, it just makes me obnoxious. That makes me obnoxious and very
vulgar and antagonistic. Yes.
It's just, I feel like there's a place and time for everything. For you to be like, nobody has a problem with somebody being openly whatever sexuality you are, or whatever thing you are, whatever. I don't care, but it's just a time and place. Like there's certain things. I don't even think I'd be cool with a stranger. If a girl jumped in my chat and was like, "Yeah, I was busting dicks," I'd be like, "Whoa, wait a minute, my nigga! Like that's a lot. Like chill out." I don't think I would have a conversation with that girl again,
right?
Because I'm just like, yo, you're just a little crass for me, bro. I feel like you just don't have the type of.
I think everybody gets ostracized in social conversation for acting like that though.
That's what I'm saying. But that's the point. But they don't.
Because when you say if two white people are together, right, and one guy is like niggering up the place, right, I don't know, but I would like to guess that the other white kid would be like, yo, what's with you? Why are you dropping the N-bomb? Why are you dropping the N-bomb, dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing a lot right now, bro.
Exactly. But you wouldn't be chastised for condemning him for that.
Right.
But if the thing is, here's where the disconnect comes. If somebody is openly gay or trans and they were being extremely detailed about sexual escapades or anything that should be held would be deemed societally as a private conversation and just being openly. Right. If you have anything negative to say,
you're homophobic or transphobic.
You're transphobic.
Yeah, it's not fair.
That's the problem. Not fair. That's what it is right there. It's like I don't want to. I don't want to know about your. I don't care. Your sexual.
I don't care.
Your sex. I don't care.
Right.
Do what you do, but just I don't need to know.
But it's like it's even as simple as like when there's a couple outside and they're just going in, and you're like, "Yo, get a room."
Yeah, exactly.
Get a room.
That person that says get a room would not be condemned.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like there's just this bubble, this protective bubble around a certain group or certain groups of people, because it's not even just like the LGB whatever people, sorry, don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's just like this, it's almost like they can say whatever the fuck they want and you can not disagree with it or say, you know what, that makes me uncomfortable. Like I was in a class and there was one guy in there who he identified how he identified and he dressed very feminine, but he was very respectful and considerate. He wasn't walking around screaming that shit. Then we had another dude, lady, whatever, came in there and was just like, every conversation was about it. And we're like, yo, we're not talking about that. We're talking about ethics and morals, or we're talking about whatever the class is about. And they just kept saying, oh, well, I know lots of men. And we're like, yo, not here. We respect you, but not here.
It's very hard for me to think of a counterpoint and to play devil's advocate because it's very hard, but I got one. And maybe it's media trying to introduce new perspectives to desensitize the general public, to make it more acceptable. Like also the reason why you'll see more like Black Disney characters to show the more Black cartoons, because we don't have any. So maybe they're showing gay scenarios because they don't really have, now it's oversaturated, but they don't really have that many gay scenarios for people to watch.
But what is crazy to me,
you get what I'm saying?
I feel like Spider-Man could have been gay. Spider-Man could have been gay. Batman could have been gay. We don't know those things. Right?
But that's not what the story's about.
It's not about it.
Yeah.
To make it, I don't know if this was a troll, but I saw a comic release where the Joker is pregnant. And I'm just like,
why?
Wait, what?
Why?
What is this about now? You know what I mean? Like, we're making.
What's the intention behind?
Oh, you're saying like sex shouldn't be the centerpiece.
Yes. Nobody cares what you do when you're by yourself. Like, why does it have to be public knowledge?
If you want to make a gay character, cool, that's fine. Right. Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, I wasn't watching Batman or Superman or any of these things
for their sexuality.
I wasn't thinking about girls. I was trying to save the world.
Right.
I was trying to put a cape on and be the hidden nigga in the
jump
dark
off my bed.
And be on it. That was it. But now the kids nowadays are gonna be like, well, this nigga kissing. Batman's kissing Spider-Man type shit. You know what I mean? Whatever. Like it just that wasn't. I get it. There was always like a damsel in distress. I don't know. Like, I guess if you want to make a gay,
I just feel like it's just like there's a difference between inclusivity and forcing a perspective. Yeah, you can have a character like growing up. We had a cousin. We always knew he was gay, but nobody cared. Nobody said anything. Yeah. He's like, it's not a thing. Like he'll bring his boyfriend, but it's not a thing. Like I don't think anybody doesn't accept them. There may be a few people who are extremely uncomfortable with it, but generally speaking, I don't really think it's that big of a deal. Just stick them in there. But to make this like centerpiece around like this fucking blurred line of sexuality and kind of like you're feeding ideas to susceptible minds. Like you're forcing a perspective that's kind of not necessary, and it's a personal decision to make. And I feel like it's like, yes, inclusivity, fine. But when you make it this like literally everything. Now you don't see certain couples at all. Like every cartoon, or it's like even when you notice like every dark-skinned Black guy character is gay. There's no straight Black guys. Like why can't like I just feel like it's just like the intention and how it's being done. Nobody really cares.
That's how you get two minds.
Nobody really cares. And it's funny because like I remember one time my kids was like, "Oh, Mom, what do you think if I was gay, and I'm like, I still love you, but I'm gonna call you a fruity tootie. You just gonna like, I still love you. And I'm like, you just gonna like. That's,
I wouldn't care if I had a gay child.
But do you get what I'm saying? Like, I love you regardless, but it's just like I'll joke on my son. I'm like, ooh, you like girls. I'm going to make fun of you. There's no difference. Like, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not that big a deal. Why are we making it a thing?
You know what? I want to ask a question. All right. So growing up in high school, we didn't have many trans in our school. We had a couple of gay people, but not many trans, right?
No, I'm telling you,
that's a good point.
When I was in high school,
there was gay people. I don't remember trans.
We didn't have any trans people. So let me ask you a question.
When I was, we did.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that if the kind of gay, I guess you want to say, supposed gay agenda that's in the media today did not exist, do you think there would be less trans people or more trans people
now,
or the same amount of trans people now?
That's a good question.
If it didn't exist,
if it didn't exist,
I think they were always going to be there. They've been there,
and the goal is not to make less or more. The goal is to people to be themselves.
I think you got to remember that, we go, especially because of the internet, we go through changes together.
Yeah.
And like we experience things as a society together. Like movies, if you keep your finger on the temperature or on the pulse of like what type of movies are coming out, it's always what everybody's collectively thinking. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So if you notice with all of the feminine stuff that came out, you're gonna see like the Woman King. And you're just gonna see She-Hulk and
creates art.
Exactly. So I think, or maybe the other way around, because I think a lot of times the movies that we see kind of like influence.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, like
so that's my question.
Seeing.
So do you think?
So I think it'll. If it wasn't around, then it would be the same.
You think it would be the same?
Yeah.
I feel like they're always going to be there.
With that state of mind, then the media doesn't have any effect on the kids.
I think that it has.
No, because I think the media does has had an effect on the kids. That's why you see more in the schools.
That's why it's a lot more outwardly expressive.
If the media did not portray the supposed gay agenda or trans agenda, whatever we want to call it, would there be less or the same amount of trans and gay kids?
I think that they will always be there. It won't be so aggressive. It wouldn't be so aggressive because they've always been there. Like when I was in high school,
I don't see a difference.
I'm about to say when I was in high school, there was.
When you was in high school,
I don't see like I don't see a bunch of cross-dressing like people
but not,
I don't see. I just don't. I don't know if it's just my world. I just don't see it.
I've always seen it. I've literally always seen it. There was specifically 2 guys in our school. There was more than them, but there were 2 extremely flamboyant, openly gay. And they're tall, big guys. Like they're not. You can't hide from them. I know you're talking about. And one of them, I remember Halloween. Maybe I was in 11th grade. He came dressed as a woman. Okay. Nobody cared. They're like, "Oh, this thing is crazy," and he just like that was. He felt like that's who he was, and we all accept him. Nobody ever thought anything different about him. There's another one who used to get his eyebrows done, called himself Beyonce. Like he was that. Like, and nobody cared. And then even when I moved to the next,
I was at McDonald's,
and he worked there.
I was at McDonald's.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like it's always been there.
He goes, "Oh, you hungry?" And the nigga was like, "No."
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I said. No. And then there was other guys who were not as flamboyant as those 2 guys, but they always were there, and we always knew it, and nobody cared.
Real question. So back to my questions. Are you saying that the media does not affect the amount?
I said the media made it more aggressive.
Aggressive in what sense?
In this like overly aggressive expression of it. Now it's just like the media kind of just made them feel like the underdog. You get what I'm saying? Like it made them feel like nobody respects them for who they are. And it made them to start fight for their rights. And now it's become like this overly aggressive nature towards people who don't get it.
That I don't agree.
You know why you're right? Because when that door opened up, the masculinity door opened up. And if that door didn't open up, then that other door wouldn't have opened up. And the masculinity door opened up, so the feminism door opened up. You get what I'm saying? Then this is like everything, like like what Sade is saying, it's all cause and effect. What you're saying has to be right because all these other doors are opening up.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But it's become more outwardly expressed and aggressive. It's an aggression now. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's become borderline antagonistic in nature towards people who just, it's just not, like you said, you don't see it. Like that just not your world. But now it's like, you can't say that and not feel a way about you not seeing them. And it's not that you don't care. It's not that you have any problem towards it. But it's like, oh, you don't see me, so you don't respect my shit. And I feel some type of way. And it's like, no.
So hold on, wait, real quick. So I agree with what you're saying about the aggressive shit. I agree. I do feel like gays and trans have been disenfranchised, and they do need some type of representation. I do agree with that.
That's
but
right.
My question still remains. So if there, so let me just say, so it sounds like y'all saying what the media did by pushing the supposed gay agenda is just make them more aggressive.
Yes.
With that being said, then in a sense we shouldn't even worry about kids watching it because at the end of the day, it's not creating gay people. It's not.
No, they're always going to be
manipulating them to be gay.
However,
I think it comes from home anyway. Yeah. I think there's always going to be outside influences, but you at the end of the day, you have to have a good household. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like because you have niggas shooting each other to drill music. You have whatever agendas they have in your kids' cartoons. Yeah. You have even like you remember what was the little scary shit online that kids were watching? Momo? You have shit like Momo.
Right.
You got to make sure
kids that was committing suicide.
Yeah, you got to make sure your household is on point.
It's gonna have some influence.
So that's what I'm saying.
You can't say that there's no influence. It's going to have some influence. It's gonna make more. I feel like it's almost like trying to make people more comfortable. Yeah. But it also has like I said, the whole cause and effect thing. Like, just as much as people are going to become openly expressive about it, people are going to become more openly uncomfortable about it. Yeah. Because it's just not their world. And I feel like it's not even like subtle or considerate of people who just don't live that lifestyle. I feel like it's okay to live the lifestyle you live. But again, you don't have to force that. Like, I don't talk to my cousin about his exploits, but that's his lifestyle.
Are we coming full circle with Kanye West? Is it okay for Kanye West to think about what he thinks about and says what he says?
Of course.
Yes.
Without anybody being upset.
That's the point. It doesn't matter how aggressive in nature. It doesn't matter what he's saying. If it doesn't impact your life on a regular daily basis, why the fuck do you care? He's a person.
I think it's still a little bit more complex.
I really think it's really not that serious.
So we're not.
I can't fully say because just like we said earlier, we both agreed that there's some people in this world that just do not have a strong mindset, and will fucking fit in these boxes.
Right.
So if you're in control of the people in these boxes, because you have a radical voice, I think you still have to be
somewhat responsible for what you put out. However, just like there's people who are going to fit in those boxes, there's some people who just don't give a fuck.
But we can't disregard the motherfuckers.
It's not really about disregarding. It's just like people are going to be who they're going to be. And until you like, they literally shut him up. They shut him down on every platform.
I don't agree with that either.
But that's what it's gonna do.
I know.
That's the only way to not see it.
And that's the scary fucking part because it's like a circle.
But that's what I'm saying. So people are going to be people. Even if we don't see him on the internet, he's going to find, like, somebody's going to record him and he's going to do what he's going to do wherever he's going to do it. It's just, there's going to be, just like there's strong-minded people who think like him, there's going to be weak-minded motherfuckers who think like everybody else. That's just how it works. Like, you can't control one or the other. It's a personal, like I said, it's like we've lost the fucking power of the individual. I
feel like at the end of this conversation, I'm still like, I
don't think there's one set in stone answer to it.
There's not one set in stone answer, which is sad, but I mean, it's not sad, but it just leads me to
be who you are and stand on it. And there's going to be consequences if the collective don't like it. And that's it.
So here's what I say though. What we need to start doing is we need to stop fucking labeling people just because they disagree with you. That is dumb.
Yes, it is.
If you really want to get down to know somebody's psyche, talk to the person.
Get to know them on an individual basis.
With a childlike
mindset, curiosity, openness,
openly understanding a person. Like, do not label a person to be like, oh, you said this, you're one of them.
Right.
Like, that's not how.
And it's okay to agree to disagree.
Exactly.
It's okay to not like somebody. It's okay. It's normal to say, you know what? I don't really agree with you. I might not hang out with you. That's fine.
But then again, also, you can't, like, even if you agree with one point, like, don't fucking join a team or a fucking
collective
because one fucking point of view you agree with.
Right.
Because then it just gets out of control. It gets unchecked.
That's how people find their tribe.
Yeah,
but think about like, y'all ever seen the movie Mean Girls?
Yeah, I do.
Is that not what that movie's about?
Definitely, it's tribalism.
That's literally what that movie's about. This girl, she comes and she's from somewhere else, and they're like, "Who are you?" And then you have these 3 other girls who are like this. Popular. They're a fucking gang.
Yeah.
They're a gang of girls. They wear pink on fucking Wednesday, my nigga. Like they're a gang. And these 2 girls, there's one leader, and she thinks the way she thinks. The other 2 don't necessarily agree with her.
But they ride with her.
And then you have a girl from the outside acting like them and then eventually becomes them.
Yeah.
That's what this world has become.
Yeah.
A bunch of mean girls. Like, we follow the leader and we may not all agree. Like, stop trying to make fetch. What did she say? Stop trying to make fetch a thing.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, she totally disregarded her team member as an individual because the collective mindset's more important.
It's more important.
And that's why I said, like, it's okay. Like, the individual makes the collective. Don't lose your individuality. Don't lose your voice and your own way of thinking to be a part of something that has one linear way of thinking.
Yeah, I agree.
That's really all it is.
Fuck the hive mind.
Like, and you don't have to agree with someone who opposes your idea.
I know somebody that would totally disagree with you.
That's fine.
And they I know, but and they bring up some good points, but like I'm gonna these next couple episodes I'm gonna have people call in. That should be excited. But like I remember them trying to convince to me that collective truth is the real truth, because nobody would be able to validify my truth.
No, it's agreed upon truth. It's not. It can always shift.
But a fact is a fact.
A fact is a fact.
Truth is a truth, and a fact is a fact.
So what's the collective fact that people are standing on to like dispose somebody else's truth? Because you can have someone who lives a completely different lifestyle. You can live in the same house with somebody. Let's say like me, I have a sister. We've lived 2 completely different lives, but we've had the same experience. So the fact to her may not look the same to me.
That is true.
So how can you say that? You can't say that. We were a collective. We're a family. We all lived in the same house, but each one of us had a different experience. So the fact that my sister sees is not the fact that I see, but she stands on her shit.
You know what the best example of that is? It's like a basketball game. Or a football game, you got like 10 referees in that game.
Right.
And like there'll be like a foul, and the one ref will blow the whistle and call it out.
But they also review a tape.
Because from his angle, it looked like dude hit him.
Right.
But in the other referee on across the side, on his angle,
he didn't see that.
He waved it, and it didn't touch him.
Right.
But he just acted like, you know what I mean? So it's just like,
there's always three sides to a story.
Everybody has a viewpoint of what they see things at their angle.
Right.
And this is the thing that's kind of like, it's so complex because it's like, you know how people like address a situation with like, I feel like, and it's like, well, fuck your feelings because the facts are the facts.
Right.
We'd have to explore all angles, and that's what these conversations for, which just leads back to having these conversations with a childlike mentality, like
openness,
childlike curiosity.
Yes. Yeah.
We all need to just come together as a collective and have conversations.
But in a non-judgmental and tolerant way. And it's just like, okay, I understand where you can say, I understand where you're coming from, but that's not how I see it. So
stop clipping motherfucking videos at like 5 seconds. Oh, you said this. And then fucking making that the whole thing. Like, that's not how shit is, bro.
That's literally how people make up their mind.
Like, if you would have watched this video from like the point where I was talking about like the gay and trans shit,
you could do it to me.
That's who he is.
Yeah.
But they don't get to the end of the video and it's like, oh wait a minute. He kind of like,
editing's a motherfucker.
I swear to God, stop doing that shit. Watch the whole video, bro. Like, we done had too many times. Stop.
Yeah.
God damn.
With that said, that's another episode of IC. I'm Sean Johnson, Head Steph, Sade Renee.
Namaste.
Holla at you.